Our goal is simple: to help you achieve the dream and vision you first had when you thought about starting a business. We're here to make growing your business less complicated. There are building blocks to build a sustainable business. We promise to seek them out and address them all. The Better Your Business Show starts now.
Hello, and welcome to the Better Your Business Show. Here we discuss your most important business challenges and provide you with the practical solutions to help you to better your business. So if you're an entrepreneur of any sort, you have the drive to move forward, you have the push and all of the tenacity needed, which you may not have, are experts that you can access to help you with step-by-step instructions to help you better your business and to find out all the components that's necessary in order to do that. Now today, I want to say first and foremost, we have Natalie Essman, who is the host of the show, executive producer of the show. We want to definitely give our shout outs to her right now. She had a migraine. She couldn't attend the show. She's here with us in spirit, and we know that she is watching, and we love her dearly and to the death. Do us part-ish.
We miss you, Natalie.
We do that.
Feel better.
Well, when you start your business, one of the things that you typically don't have is an instruction manual. You know, every time we do something, I always like to refer back to this beautiful white puzzle that I have. That's what entrepreneurs go through. They have a puzzle, they have all these pieces, but they don't know what the picture is. They don't have an instruction manual or step-by-step guide or a GPS system to take them where they need to go. And that's what this show is about, providing you with the actionable steps that you can walk away with at the end of this show to improve your business and build sustainability.
That's right. So whether you're watching us live or you're watching a replay, make sure to take your free assessment. It's a business assessment at pillow5.com/try, actually. And join us live in our virtual studio where we can address your comments and your concerns all throughout the show.
Absolutely.
Now, who are we going to be talking to today, Shauna? Shauna, you have something.
Shanna!
No pet names in public. I forgot.
Yeah, so today we have with us Kirk Nugent. He has served as a catalyst for change. He's challenged some of the preconceived notions about success and self-actualization. He is an inspirational speaker, and I actually had a chance to watch just a little clip of just a YouTube video that he's done. And it was so powerful, the way that he was talking and speaking. He's spoken at the University of Texas, NYU, Howard University, all over the world. But just helping people understand how to make a difference, and it's all about the mindset, which is what we want to talk to him about today, is
awesome.
Positive mindset. It's amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
So before we bring Kirk and his exaltedness onto the show, I want to talk about how does that apply to business though? How does this mindset, why does all these books being created by all these experts, why is Kirk Nugent doing what he does on his Pursue a Passion tour and going out and talking to all these people? How does that apply to business? Why is that necessary? Isn't it like A, B, C equals D, E, F? Like what? What's with the mindset?
What did you say, Sean?
Okay, wouldn't that be great if it were just that simple? There's a formula that you can do it. Hey, yes, it's
right, Jamie, Shanna.
Yeah, and Tehran talks about this a lot, and that was how we got onto this because it was so powerful. Some of the things that you said about mindset. The only difference between you and Warren Buffett is, the way that you're thinking about things. And when you said that resonated with me. And I think that was the start of, hey, we need to get someone on here to talk about this, because people need to understand that really is the difference between us and a lot of people that we consider, quote unquote, successful. It's the way that they think about things, and that drives the actions that they complete.
I agree 100%.
I agree.
I have so many just things that come in. When I remember Colette Porter said to us one time, we were interviewing her, I believe, and she said, you asked her what was the most important thing that she noticed between successful clients of hers and people who were not successful. And what she said was that people that struggled with achieving their goals came from a place of scarcity. And she noticed, didn't teach or encourage, but she noticed that the clients that were successful, they came from a mind state of abundance. There wasn't competition. There was only larger peer group that I can learn from, that there was more than enough for everybody, no scarcity. And that's all mindset. And as I listen, no matter what I read in books, and like you say, the A plus B equals 2, everything is translated into a mindset in order to execute the information that's being talked about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and one of the things that I noticed as I was traveling, as I just got back from Tampa and visiting with Tehran, is that there is a mindset. There is a mindset. And this shirt right here, right, has caught more attention in airports than any shirt I've ever wore. Any shirt that I ever wore. And again, failure not required is a mindset. Because I know that there's entrepreneurs going out there and they're feeling like, because they hear all these experts speaking and experts, they fail forward.
Right.
So they come in already hung on an excuse of, I need to hurry up and fail.
Right.
So I can get to the next level. But failure is not required. If you have the right mindset from the start, you can build without failure. Michael Jordan didn't fail to become the GOAT. There was no failure there. Did he fall? Sure. But he got back up. Falling is not failure. And I think we use those two words synonymously to say, well, if you had a hard time and you ran into a roadblock, well, you failed. No. In entrepreneurship, your business does not have to go out of business, and you don't have to lose all the money you invested, and you don't have to lose all your clients and go register a new company in order to build your business. You can keep building that business if you understand that the mindset. It's all in the mindset, right? If you have the mindset that I'm not going to fail and I am going to do this the right way, then failure is not required. But if you set off to fail, there's one thing you're going to achieve. You're going to fail, right?
Yeah.
And if you fail at failing, then what does that mean? You succeeded. What an oxymoron that is, right? All right. Man, I'm looking forward. I can't wait to meet Kirk. But before we bring Kurt, I want to try something new for our chief marketing officer, Todd. I'm going to bring this thing in with a little different angle. So y'all just hold on to your seat. Kurt, I know you're in the back checking this out. We're about to bring you in just a second.
Kirk Nugent, the People's Poet, presents The Sound of Melanin. Finally, a book that speaks to the heart of magically infused melanated beings. A must-read for those who wish to see beyond the programmed reality. The Sound of Melanin. Available now in print and ebook from Amazon.com and thesoundofmelanin.org.
Oof.
Love
Mr.
it.
Nugent, good gracious.
Good morning.
You got to unmute. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We need to hear you.
The world needs to hear you.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. I want to ask you that first, that Sound of Melanin book looks like it's a must-have, that is packed with power. Of course, we're speaking about mindset today. What made you want to put something like that particularly out as we just go into where this leads into as far as mindset is concerned?
Ironically, it's about mindset. Thank you for the question. It is about mindset. And that's why I want to put the Sound of Melanin out, because Carlton earlier stated, well, why is mindset so important, right? And I remember a story of two brothers grew up in a house where the father was a drunk and the father was abusive. And one brother grew up to be a drunk and his life was just unstable. He was always in and out of prisons because he was a drunk, he was abusive. And the other brother was extremely successful. So when they were interviewed, they interviewed the first brother who was a drunk, and they said, why were you a drunk? He said, well, my father was a drunk. I had no choice. And then when they interviewed the other brother who was successful, and they said, well, why are you successful? He said, my father was a drunk. I had no choice. So it's the mindset of looking at one situation, say I'm a victim, or I can persevere. I have to be something different. I'm going to set a different example. So mindset, again, the way it relates to business, it's you going in knowing no matter what comes down the path, I'm never going to quit. And most people never go in with that commitment, and they quit once it gets difficult. Once things get challenging, they quit. Right now, to become successful, it's much easier than when we were growing up, Tehran, because we didn't have the internet. If we wanted to learn something new, we had to read a book, and that book might take us a week or 2 weeks. Now, I read 2-3 books a week by just listening to Audible. So the path is there. If there's anything on this earth can be figured out and it can be solved. So even if you're facing some challenges, you have to have the mindset to say, wait a minute, I can figure this out, or I can get a team. If they could get a team to put someone on the moon or on Mars, then my team can figure out how to make 10 more sales per week. That's 2 sales a day. Of course I can do that. But the mindset of the average person is, well, I don't know. I'm just going to wait till something better shows up. So before we can even set any goals, the mindset is going to be the rudder that leads us towards where we want to go. Because if we start the self-talk that we have, we start telling ourselves, oh my God, this is difficult. This is challenging. I don't know anyone in my circumstance who could make this happen. And that's not true. You have to look at the people who came before you and the people who succeeded. Like, I only read books. I read autobiographies of Quincy Jones. I remember he was so poor, he used to go to the Ohio River in Kentucky and catch rats and bring the rats home for his grandmother to fry. So when I read something like that, I said, well, I'm not catching no damn rats. So if I don't have to catch a rat, I could succeed. I could make this thing happen. So I always read the people who struggled and overcame the struggle, because what you put into your mind is going to become the story you tell yourself. So if you keep reading and hearing stories of people who succeed regardless of the odds, sooner or later, you're going to start buying into it. You're going to sell yourself on your vision. You're going to sell yourself on your dream. So when I read stories, when I'm looking at my business and I'm saying, okay, Kirk, what is it that we need to do? Because one of the way that the biggest mistake I made when I got into speaking, I thought in order to be successful, you just have to be a great speaker. Not true. You could be a lousy speaker and be successful. You have to be a great marketer. So I took 10 years studying speaking, never touched marketing, and struggled and wondered, oh my God, I see all these people with less skill getting ahead. But when I spoke to them, what are you doing differently? I'm marketing, Kirk. Everybody know who I am. So I had to start learning marketing. I had to start learning sales. I had to start getting better in the areas that I was weak. And as I did that, I realized that I've come too far to turn back, because right now the price that you paid when you lost everything betting on a dream, you have to go all in. Because most people, they don't bet 100%. They say, well, I'm going to do this while I try this. And then if this doesn't work out, they're not committed. They're committed to being uncommitted. When you bet your entire life, if this doesn't work, I'm going to be homeless. I got to figure out how to make this work. I had relationships deteriorated because I betted everything, had no balance on what I was doing with the business. So as I got older, I had to learn, okay, Kirk, you're good over here, but you need balance. Your relationships will die if you're just completely focused on the business. So these are stuff we learn as we go ahead. But one thing we understand, that everything boils down to decisions. It was, I think Tony Robbins said, in the moment of decision, our destiny is decided. And a lot of times when it's time to make that hard decision, we run back to what is safe. And it's trying to get to that safety zone that always causes issue, because we came here for freedom, not safety. But we've been programmed, and our core value has been changed from freedom to safety. So now, instead of looking, what are the opportunities, we're looking, is it safe? Will I get laid off? If I lose my job, oh my God, what's going to happen? But we have within us the ability to build whatever it is that we want. It's just the mindset to think that, listen, I don't care what comes down the path. I don't care if the economy crash, I'm going to figure this thing out. And with that type of resolve, that type of mindset, you'll find a way. Because again, I think it was Jim Rohn who said, excuses are the nails that are used to build a house of failure. So as long as you keep making excuses, you're just going to get further and further behind the 8 ball. But if you resolve, Tehran, listen, man, I don't care what comes down the path. I'm going to figure this thing out. I'm going to figure this thing out. I'm going to read a book. I know someone came before me. So I'm going to read a book. I'm going to get some more information. I'm going to study something. I'm going to talk to some people. Most people are not willing to do that. They're not willing to do it because it's not just mindset, it's discipline, because the mindset leads to the discipline. I've never watched a Super Bowl because for some reason, when that thing is on, I always felt, well, everybody's distracted. Now it's my time to work on my thing. And my mom, when I was growing up, I used to like to watch television. She said, Kirk, turn the TV off because the people you're watching already made it. You work on your dream. Stop watching people vicariously and work on your stuff. So TV became a distraction, and I wouldn't watch that anymore. I would start working on my thing, my what can keep my mind in the right place when things are tough, when the money is low, when I'm hungry, because we've been through all of that. Any real entrepreneur, let me take that back. I don't mean to say real. I don't want to excuse anyone or dismiss anyone, but any entrepreneur has always had bad times, challenging times, whether emotionally, physically, financially. We always have things that make us say, you know what? I want to go back in the corner and quit. And it's the mindset that keeps you going. I want to share something with you guys real quick. 20 years ago, when I was on stage, I was saying that Mike Tyson was one of the greatest philosophical minds of all time. And people laugh when I said it. Mike Tyson? You gotta be kidding me. I'm like, Mike Tyson is brilliant. And the way that I realized Mike Tyson was brilliant, he had a fight. And this is when he was Iron Mike Tyson. Mike was just knocking people out by entering the ring. So Mike had a fight, and I forgot who he was fighting. Let's say it's Pinklon Thomas. It wasn't, but I'm just using that name, right? And Mike knocked the guy out in the first round, and the fight was supposed to go 5 or 6 rounds. So Larry Merchant was interviewing Mike Tyson, and he said, Mike, tell us what happened. And Mike said, I'm Mike Tyson. That's what happened. Profound. I'm Mike Tyson. That's what happened. In other words, when I show up, everything changes. So Larry Merchant figured Mike is an idiot. So in the most condescending manner, he put his arm around Mike and turned him towards the monitor and said, Mike, let's look at the monitor. You're fighting Pinklon Thomas. Pinklon is a longer reach. He was going to keep the jab in your face, and he was going to confuse you with the jab. In the 4th or 5th round, he was going to hit you with body blows and drop you. Mike, that didn't happen. Tell us what happened. And Mike looked at the monitor almost confused and said, yeah, but everybody has a plan until they get hit. Everybody has a plan until they get hit. Let me break that down for you really quickly. Let's say your plan is the dog with the white picket fence, the house on the hill, the 2.5 kids, the wife, whatever the dream is, that's the plan. And it's about 30 feet away from you. You just got to walk from here to 30 feet to get to that, right? I'm at a college telling this story. So now you're in university and you're working on your dreams because you're told, go to school, get a good job, and you could get that American dream. Once you get out of school, in 90 days, the student loan is due. Bam! You took a hit. And most people, when they take a hit, now they're not looking at the goal anymore. They done turn because the hit was so hard. They're distracted. All of a sudden, they meet someone, we should get together, we should get married. The person wants a huge wedding, another hit. Got a house, mortgage, school, kids. And all of a sudden, you said, you know what? Just don't hit me anymore. I'll stay in this corner. I'll take my vaccine. I'll behave myself. Just leave me alone. I don't want to be here. And before you know it, 30 years went by and you're no closer to your dream. Because you had a plan until you get hit. And the minute you get hit, that shock hits you. And you just, exactly. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So the minute that happens, you stop focusing on your dream. You stop believing. Your mindset is all shattered. You got to be able to take that hit and say, oh my God, that hurt. And keep moving. Most people, once they get hit, they just stay and go in the defensive position, say, please don't hit me anymore. I'll behave myself. Wait, do you want me to work 9 to 5? I'll be here at 8:30. Just don't hit me. And that's how they go through life. The thing is, in life, you have to be able to take those hits, and that's all mindset, and you keep it moving. Jim Rohn said, in life, you'll suffer one of two pains. You'll either suffer the pain of failure or the pain of regret. You'll suffer either the pain of discipline rather or the pain of regret. The pain of discipline weighs an ounce. The pain of regret weighs a ton because you can never get that back. So you have to be able to suffer the discipline to do what you need to do, even when you're not feeling like it. To get up, I got to make these calls because I know of every 20 calls I make or every 100 calls, I get one sale. So if I need 2 sales, I got to make 200 calls, whether I feel like. And when I get on the phone, I got to be chipper and jovial and excited and engaging. So it's a mindset. It's all mindset. Mindset is what kept me alive. I was born with sickle cell anemia. The doctor said I'd be dead at 13. And I decided, no, I want to be here a little bit longer than that. And once I started researching nutrition and how the body works, I became disciplined to take care of my body. I'm never overweight. I eat to maintain my health, not to satisfy my stomach or my taste buds, because I know if I deviate, I could be gone in any minute. So I'm disciplined in the fact that I want to be here for a while. So I go to the gym, I work out, I take care of my health first because I know it's not replaceable. Once I do that, I take care of the mindset. I'm not arguing with anybody. I'm not getting on social media. I don't have any point to prove. Yeah, you're right. I'm not arguing with because peace is important to me. Because if I have peace and I have health, I can get everything else done. So it's simply being focused on majoring in the stuff that needs to be majored in. But a lot of times we major in the minor and our life just go astray. And we wonder, oh my God, what happened? 40 years, 50 years ran by just like that. What happened? But we were basically committed to being uncommitted. That's pretty much what it boils down to.
So Kirk, yeah, I could listen to you and listen to you and listen to you. I have a couple of questions though. I'm curious because you mentioned that we're programmed. You know, that's what society tells us is that we have to fail, we have to do this, we have to do that, or in order to get this, dream, you've got to go this path. How do we begin to reprogram ourselves? I know you mentioned that you listen to books or read books, or you're feeding yourself, but some of us, it's been so ingrained in us, from day one that, this is the path that you must follow, and any deviation from that, you're going to fail. So how do we begin with all of the voices to reprogram ourselves?
Great question. Thank you. So the first thing is, in order for you to break out of prison, you have to first realize that you're locked up. And most people are not aware that they're programmed. The thoughts that they're running, they believe that's their original thoughts. Mm-hmm. So you have to realize first that, wait a minute, there's a program that was laid out for me. That's why my favorite movie is The Matrix. There's a program that was laid out for me. And if I follow this program, it's supposed to take me to a path. But if I look at everyone who came before me, that program didn't work. They went to school, they got the good job, but they were deeply in debt and they were not happy, and they were working so much that they could have spent time with the family, that they didn't have the real robust relationships. So when you start looking at that, you realize, okay, well, there is a program that's running and I'm following it and it's not working. So now I need something different. And what we do, we tend to look around our peers, and our peers are usually struggling the way we're struggling. So what I did, what was good for me, I looked out into, when I was growing up, one of the first books that I read at age 15 was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And then that led me to read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I started reading, and as I'm reading more, that program is changing my mind. Just to answer your question, Shannon, not all, but the majority of my friends that I went to school with and who came from Jamaica to the United States, they're in prison, deported for some illegal activity. And we all went to the same school, but it was a mindset, because they had the mindset of, I could go out here, I could sell a little weed, I could do this, and make some quick money. While in my mind, okay, I'm going to learn something, because I'm not built for prison. They'll pass me around like a joint. I'm not built for it. I can't. I knew that. So I knew that I'm not built for the streets. So I got to use my mind. That's my greatest asset. So the way you start deprogramming and reprogramming your mind, Alvin Toffler said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write. It will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And that's what we have to do with the program. We have to unlearn the stuff that we learned and learn some new stuff now, and look at the people who are doing what you want to do. That's what I do. Look at the people wherever you want to go. When I decided to become a speaker, I drove 17 hours straight from Indiana to Miami to find Les Brown. And when I met Les Brown, he held out his hand for a handshake. And I said, Mr. Brown, I drove 17 hours to meet you. I did not come here for a handshake. And he laughed. And before we knew it, he became my mentor, and I was living under his roof. I sought out someone who was where I wanted to be and started studying from him. And he would teach me, okay, Kirk, this is how you put a speech together. This is how you build this. And I learned. But I had the first thing was desire. So to get back to your question, it starts with desire. You have to realize that you're not where you want to be. And you have to also realize it is possible to get where you want to be. And the difference between where you are and where you want to be is going to be information and discipline. That's pretty much what it is. Information and discipline. Get the information to get you there and the discipline to execute.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Discipline is a tough one, though. You know, we all struggle with that because we want what we want and we want it now. And we're not, a lot of people aren't willing to put in the work or sacrifice or do all of those things. So any suggestions for that path? How do you increase? I mean, you did it.
Yeah, it boils down to desire. How badly do you want it? Because we could say passionately we want this thing or that thing. And we're in a first world, so to speak, a first world country. Usually when you're in a first world country, you take a lot of stuff for granted. I was not born in a first world country. I came from Jamaica. So I know what it is to walk miles to get some water. So to open the tap and have water, I'm grateful for that. And I have a desire to leave something behind. And also, I grew up in such a depressed place that one of my desires was to leave people either where I found them or at a higher level. So I wanted to inspire people. I wanted to be someone where people would feel good in their presence or the information I had to share. So that desire was such a driving force. And then the other thing is, I'm just keeping it real with you. My ego played a big part. And what I mean by my ego played a big part, when I was younger, everyone counted on me to fail because I didn't take the route of getting a good job. I took the route of entrepreneurship. So my ego, it was important for me to be successful so I could say, see, I told you. It's not like that anymore, but I'm just telling where I came from, where I started. So with a lot of people, if you have a lot of anger, channel that anger to drive you to say, okay, I'm going to prove this stuff. But eventually that will fade and it has to come down to you. The desire has to be strong enough. I want to be wealthy more than I want to be poor. And I know there's certain discipline that it takes. And the reason for being wealthy, money is like a lubricant. It just makes everything easier. That's all it is. Because you don't become a better person if you have money. You just become more of who you are. So I started studying. I looked at my mom, how she struggled all her life. But she came again from a mindset of lack. Turn off the light. We can't afford that. Close the refrigerator door. Do that. It was all from a place of lack. And I always said, Mommy, won't you just make more? And Kirk, money don't grow on trees. Well, yes, they do. They're made out of paper, and paper is from trees. So anyway, my mindset is make more than shrink, rather than shrink. But it's a desire. I grew up hungry. So I have a desire to not be wanting for food. I grew up I don't want to go into all of that, but my desire was strong enough. So if you hear a lot of speakers talk about this, what is your why? Why do you want this thing? Because if you want it bad enough, you will find a way to figure it out. But if the want is just, there's no real emotion towards it, then whatever comes, you take. But the desire has to be there. Everything, even Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, it starts with a burning desire. You have that desire, it will start move you towards what you're looking for.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. Kirk, we're going to do this. We can do this for hours, and we're definitely going to do this. But what we're going to do right now, give everybody a chance to digest that healthy and nutritious dosage of sustenance you just provided. We're going to take a quick break.
Sure.
Right back, we're actually going to bring Mr. Todd Social in, and we're going to just double down on this positive mindset and how it is imperative. It is the imperative pillar to building anything worth being sustainable. Indeed. We'll be right back.
A wise man once asked, what if starting a business was like jumping out of a plane? And like 76% of businesses, what if 76% of parachutes failed before you reached the destination. What about those of you who have already jumped? Well, you may still have time to check your business. Pillar5.com, where businesses get it right.
Kirk Nugent, the People's Poet, presents The Sound of Melanin. Finally, a book that speaks to the heart of magically infused melanated beings. A must-read for those who wish to see beyond the programmed reality. The Sound of Melanin. Available now in print and ebook from Amazon.com and thesoundofmelanin.org.
Small businesses are America. For more than 100 years, BBB has stood alongside small businesses. While many things have changed, BBB's steadfast dedication to businesses has not. BBB's consultative business support helps build better business through enhanced online reputation, healthy growth, and ready-to-buy customers. Build better with BBB today.
Oh, yeah.
That
Mr.
was
Todd Social.
hello, Mr. Todd. So you're actually on mute, Todd. We can't hear you. But Kirk, as we bring Todd on, I wanted to ask Mr. Todd Social, how was your download of Mr. Kirk Nugent's dissertation on mindset in the relative world of, and of course, marketing, or how you see it in life, period?
Well, to me, mindset is everything in terms of your methodology. And the difference in mindset to me is when you have the right mindset, when your mind is like really locked in, you have a plan of action. When you lack the mindset, you just have action on a lot of plans. So essentially, you're just basically trying to make maneuvers to make maneuvers to make maneuvers. But what I heard and what I received a lot was, if you have a mindset, then you make peace with a lot of things, like your process, your purpose, your passion, what makes you really rise to the occasion. And if you think about it in a framework of, say, like basketball, there's a lot of players that win the NBA championship that are terrible at foul shooting, that miss a lot of jump shots, that miss dunks, miss time, stuff like that. But they still end up winning at the end because they're continuously growing their mindset towards their goal, and in business, it has to be the same way, especially in marketing. There's a lot, you learn more from your marketing fails than from the things that actually sell for you, because a lot of people want to go viral. A lot of people want to be known or recognized, but recognition is not the same as visibility. And that goes back to the essence of your mindset. So if you have the right mindset, then a lot of people will connect with your methodology and your mission instead of just, occasionally connecting with your message.
Yeah, definitely. Because it sounds a lot. What I've heard with both is there's an intentionality that happens with your mind, with a mindset. I forget who said it. I think it was Joey Maldonado who's actually watching this show. He was speaking to me about a mindset in martial arts, and the intention when blocking or striking has a lot to do with what happens when that thought is executed. And I think it's the absolute same thing. Kirk touched on it beautifully, speaking from a place of lack versus abundance. If I have to fail, even Carlton was saying earlier, some people feel as though I have to fail, so let me fail fast. I'll fail forward, but let me fail fast. But even the thought process behind failure dictates what's going to happen. The thought process behind whatever you're doing is going to dictate what happens. So I like to liken it, and I'm going to step in and out of this because I want to hear more than I say, but I really like to liken it to, just beginning with the end in mind. Really, you begin with the end in mind in whatever you're doing. When we were younger, we were fearless because there was nothing we couldn't do. we began with the end in mind, whether it was approaching a woman, whether it was, moving out of town and going, meeting new friends. There's just a natural torque that pushes you when you're aligned with the end goal being accomplished. You're just working your way towards it. Not if I do this, then I'll get that. It's when I get that, I'm going to do this. And then you start. But there's a mindset behind that goal. Yeah, I'm going to fall back right on now.
I think a valuable thing to know is when you have the right mindset, like I think of it this way, marketing to me was not about, tactics or technique. It was about routine, and a commitment to a routine, because a lot of it is about, when you talk about the algorithms and you talk about being present, and the reason why people act the way they act on social media is because they don't necessarily have an engaged mindset. They have a follower mindset. So for me, it was like I wanted to learn, and my mother would tell me like, "Oh, you can't do that because that's not something that's meant for you." And I would say, "No, yes, I can, because I got the mindset to get up. I got the mindset to ask questions. I got the mindset to show up at seminars and listen to people." And I did a lot of learning by listening. And then I was activated in terms of understanding how to evaluate, growth and scale and things of that nature. But a lot of times we're disengaged from our mindset or distracted from our mindset, so we can't even see the end of the road to be able to go down it. So we're like, okay, is that the road? Is that the road? Is that the road? Because we don't have the actual mindset to be able to focus on it. Because when he talked about the lack, when people think of lack, they think of safety. So if I don't have this, okay, I'm gonna play it safe over here. And that's the lack mindset to say, okay, I'm gonna protect my failure versus expose my failure. If you live within your failure, once you fail forward and fail once, you rarely will fail twice. This is the reason why people that achieve have failed. When you think about the tech industry, the volume of tech businesses have grown because of their failure, not because of anything else, because they had the right mindset. They're successful because when they fail fast, they focus on it because they have the right mindset, and they move on and move forward.
So it's interesting that you say that, Todd, because, as I'm listening, and I want to bring Kirk in on this, because it seems like failure is a mindset. Because I think about, some of the drugs that are out there now, legal and, chemically induced, but those were designed for something else, or they were trying to treat something else and found out that it actually treated this better. So was that failure? No, it was just repurposed. So Kirk, I'm just curious, what is your definition of failure? And do you think it's necessary to achieve goals? Is failure required in order to move forward in business?
I don't believe you fail until you quit. Everything else is just information. Information is feedback that's telling you turn left, turn right. Like Einstein said, I failed 1,000 times. Was it Einstein? The guy, the light bulb dude. Failed 1,000 times of finding a way to do something. So failure to me is just quitting. When you say, you know what, I gave up. That is failure. But not achieving your goal or the mark at a certain time, all you're getting is feedback. And you could take that feedback and repurpose that feedback, navigate the feedback, and then you get more information. So the thing about us as human beings, we learn more from our failures than we do from our successes. So is it necessary to fail in order to succeed? Not necessarily, but because the failure is so painful, we analyze it more and we get more information from that failure than we do if we just succeed. If we succeed, we don't even look at it. We keep it moving on to the next goal. But when this thing didn't work, we dissect it. Why didn't this work? And I did that. And from dissecting it, we get a lot more information. And from that information, we can move forward. So failure is quitting, and you don't fail until you stop. As long as you take the information, you keep moving. I thought I would have achieved what I wanted to achieve within a matter of maybe months or years. It took me about 2 decades to become an overnight success. I didn't fail. I just kept adjusting the information I kept getting and kept moving towards a goal. And I think there was a question that Carlton asked before in the chat. I don't see it anymore. But yeah, as long as you refuse to quit, because you can always take in new information and adjust the way you're going about things. It's the same thing with me and having sickle cell anemia. The doctors told me, as long as you live, you're going to have to be in prescription drugs. And I believed that for a while until we got into the information age and I could do a research and realize, oh, the reason my eyes are yellow and jaundice is because my liver is toxic. The doctors never told me that. My liver is toxic, so I need to detoxify my liver. And these foods that I eat cause my liver to be toxic. So as I keep taking in more information, I adjust my diet and became healthier. While with the doctor, take this, go to bed, come back and refill the prescription next month. So I took in more information and was able to live the life that I wanted as opposed to the life that I was told I was required to live.
Wow. That's amazing. I don't want to monopolize this, but I do have a question and I want to take full advantage of you being here. One of the things that I'm always curious about is the why. Why do you, I mean, I see that you're talking about pursuing your passion. You're talking about mindset, all of these things that are inevitably going to help so many people. So why is that so important to you?
Great question. Thank you. And if you notice, everything that I'm talking about is spiritual. If you look at it from that perspective, why pursuing your passion is important to me. Why? The people who are living their passion, if you pay attention to them, they never engage in the petty foolishness. They're not arguing with someone about, is Biden a better president than Trump? They're very focused. And the other thing is they're not bent on changing your mindset into believing what they believe. So people who are passionate about what they're doing is almost like they have a purpose, and the purpose is too big to spend time on the foolishness. My thing is the reason why why I keep moving in the direction that I move. It is important to me to have a spiritually fulfilling life. I've seen so many people chase the material things, and then they have a lot of material wealth, but their relationship with their kids is horrible. The relationship with the spouse. And I want to be a spiritually balanced and good person on this planet. What I mean by good person is I should make no distinction between the janitor and the CEO. You understand what I'm saying? We're all human beings. I was in Australia in 2012, and I remember this guy, he asked me for money, and I said to him, what do you want money for? And he said, I'm hungry. He was a guy on the street begging. And I said to him, dude, I'm hungry. Let's go get something to eat. So we went to this fish and chips place, and we were having some food, and he started crying. We were having a conversation. He started crying. I'm like, dude, I know this is good fish and chips, but it ain't that good. And he said to me, he started laughing through the tears, and he said, you're the first person in over 10 years that has made eye contact with me.
Wow.
First person in 10 years that treated him, that saw the humanity in him. And I watched as I grew up in stature as a speaker and my money grew, how people treated me differently. And I hated that. I hated the fact that they saw more value in me when I had money than when I didn't have money. I hated the fact when I walked into the bank, the teller treated me differently if I had $6 in my account than if I had 60,000. So that's my why, to be in a place where I can show people that you have value regardless, and you have a purpose, and stop believing in these ideas that because your money is low, you don't have any value, you don't have any purpose. Dude, you could change that. As long as you have your health and you have your mindset, you could change everything, because we live in a world where the information is there and we just got to apply it. So my purpose is to lead by example and let people know that you're so much more than you've been told.
Wow. Yeah, someone else is going to have to take over, because I'm going to cry if I that was powerful. You're spot on with that, in looking at it from that standpoint of, there is humanity, and we're all meant to help each other in some way, and no one is any better. But if we, focus on something other than ourselves, and again, mindset, the way that we look at things makes such a huge difference. Yeah. Wow.
Shannon, can I just interject real quick? I read a book when I was 18. I don't even remember the name of the book, but it spoke about, I remember, it was the law of one, the raw material. So this is some spiritual stuff. But it spoke about being in service. There's two paths to walk: service to self or service to others. And as long as you try to be 51% in service to others, you will walk a path of enlightenment and a path that's just, it's better. It served the planet more. And I never forgot that. I always want to be in service to others. And that's what drives me.
Wow. Love it.
Yeah, I was spot on. That's inspirational right there. Let me say that. You know, and likening to what you said, I forget the name of the book. You probably remember it if I said it. Russell Simmons came out with a book.
Do you?
I think that was, no, something rich. Well, something about rich.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But anyway, he was talking about, there's a part where he's talking about how we're all here to serve.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really, really dope the way he put it together. He said, we're here to serve. So if you're serving others, by default, you serve yourself. And this is the example he used. If I wake up in the morning and I want to go get me something to eat, I'll make me something to eat. If I have to get up in the morning and make something to eat for my family, I have to now leave my house and do stuff in order to bring back the milk, to bring back the food to cook. So the doing stuff is, I guess, will be making money. So because you have something else you're trying to do, by default, you get the resources to do that thing. Where most of us focus on just getting the resources, for ourselves. So if we just had to supply payroll for everybody in our city, our thought process is different on what it is we have to do now. Because now we have to generate that situation in order to provide that service to everybody. So there's a mindset understanding of services to being a service provider from a spiritual perspective that you're talking about. That's profound. It shifts, it shakes everything. When we were building Pillar 5, when we started, we said, we realized that we took our eye off of monetizing Pillar 5. And we wanted to find a solution to the problem. As soon as we took our focus Super Rich, that's it. Absolutely. That was it. Super Rich. Thanks much. So as soon as we took our eyes off of monetizing the company and solving the problem, abundance was on the other side of that. There was stuff that started happening that we weren't even prepared for.
Yeah.
But it was never going to happen if we didn't take our eye off of that as being the goal. And how do we actually help the person that's going to get this tool once it's developed? How are we going to actually fulfill our mission, which is to change the death rates of small businesses? So we're taking that service on, solving a huge problem, and then everything else is just attached to it. But again, it's that mind frame, chasing the money or chasing your purpose or benefit. So I agree.
In the Bible, the master teacher, Jesus said, the greatest among you will be servants. The greatest among you will be servants. And I never forgot that, because again, that's what we came here for. You feel good in your spirit when you serve, when you could help someone. And now we have this day and age where if I help someone, I got to take a selfie and show it on Instagram. That's not service.
No.
That's not service. That's pride. That's arrogance. When I help you, Tehran, no one should know about it. When you help me, that's between you and I. No one should know. It's not an advertisement placard for you to go up and be like, oh, yeah, if it wasn't for me, Kirk would not have eaten it today. That's not what we're about. It's about helping our fellow human being and seeing the humanity in each and every one of us, right? And when you get on stage and when you speak, how does that show up into marketing? Because people, they resonate. They can tell you're coming from the heart. They could tell that's not a ploy. You're not telling some story to make some money. They could tell you're coming from the heart. And when that heart connect, people want to do business with you. They cannot help but do business with you because people are drawn to authenticity. That's just the way we're built.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because humanity in marketing is like very essential when it comes to discussing mindset. And I've always thought that how do you actively create humanity in your marketing is more about your mindset than your methodology, because a lot of the people have formulas and templates that they use, which what you're referencing. The kindness template is what it's called. It's I'm going to be kind. I'm going to show people that I'm kind so people can reward me for being kind, instead of I'm just going to do it because it's the right thing to do. Like when you go to a conference, because a lot of times I remember, my best marketing that I ever did was when I would be taking a walk. I'd be in Arizona, close to the Cardinal Stadium, and I'd be taking a daily walk. And I would see this homeless vet who was out there every single day. And so whenever I'd be creating ideas, I would actually sit down and talk with him, because I just felt like, he was an intellectual dude, and he gave me a different framework because he was a neutral-minded person, because it wasn't like somebody that was a yes person in humanity, in marketing, versus it was a human person that I could actually connect and collaborate with and get feedback. And I would always leave, thinking to myself, hey, I've gotten more from him than maybe he thinks, he gave me, because I realized that even though that he was homeless, he was more helpful to me to ignite ideas in me, because I was living in this framework that my mindset was making me because of money or fame or anything else. But his identity was, I'm just a guy that's just living life. And so I see it through a complete globe. So in reality, what's your thoughts, Kirk, on how to be human in your marketing, essentially for those listeners that are trying to figure out the difference between like marketing mechanics or marketing specifics to just marketing themselves?
Thank you, Todd. I believe in being authentic. Show up and be authentic. And in marketing, you're not going to reach everyone, but the people who you're supposed to reach, you'll reach. Just being authentic, because people like it. They see that. And I tell people, if I'm afraid, I get on stage and I tell the crowd, right now I'm nervous. I'm afraid. I'm scared. And the crowd roots for you. They actually start rooting for you because they want to see you win. So when you show up, what I call being naked and unashamed, I never try to put myself as I know everything. I'm learning. I might know a little bit more in this particular area than you do, and so I can help you in this particular area. But I'm sure there's other areas that you know. So when you show up just in your authentic self, that resonates with people. And right now, we're beginning to move into energy, into a place where people are beginning to trust their heart more. Because our generation, we were told we can't trust that. Your intuition, that's crap. You got to be able to process it through your five senses. If you can't process through your five senses, it's not real. Now we're beginning to connect more with our heart. We're beginning to move into a more spiritual place. We're beginning to be more compassionate, more empathetic. And people are looking for that. They know that. They're aware that there are a lot of people out there just looking for money, money, money. So once you connect from an authentic place in your marketing, in your speech, and how you show up, people are going to come, and they're going to come flocking to you, and they're going to come loving you, because that's something new for them.
Wow. Well, Kirk, this time has just flown by. I wish we had, all day, really, because I feel like there's so much more that you can share, and just the way that you're looking at things. I would like to ask you, a couple of things. One, we want to make sure people know where they can find you. So let us know.
I'm kidding.
Let me know, man. I'm going to be there. I'll be first in line. Yeah. Where's the best way? If they're looking for you, what's the best way for them to reach you? And then is there anything, just in closing, is there something that you'd like to share with people? Where can they, how do they start on this journey? You've got so much going for you, and you've got so much wisdom. And so how do we start again to begin to reprogram, to look at things differently? Is there any piece of advice that you can give, our audience as they're trying to figure out what's next?
We spoke about desire. Thank you. So desire is really big. There's a quote that says, if you want it bad, if it's important to you, you'll find a way. If it's not important, you'll find an excuse. So make it important. If you say it's important, make it important. Be authentic. know thyself, know what's important, know your whys. Why are you doing this stuff? Because if you don't know your why, you'll quit prematurely. And I know we're running out of time, so my website is my name, KirkNugent.com. You could find me there. My email, everything is on the website. And one quick plug, the book that we're saying, The Sound of Melanin, for your guest, that would not be the best book for them. I have another book called From Depression to Destiny. That would be a better book. The Sound of Melanin is a poetic book, and it's just a bunch of poetry. But From Depression to Destiny is speaking to entrepreneurs, it's speaking about mindset, it's speaking about everything we're talking here. And that's on my website as well.
Perfect. So From Depression to Destiny.
From Depression to Destiny, yes.
All right. You can find that on Kirk's website, kirknugent.com. Check it out. I'm sure you're going to love it. And I'm going to go and get a copy.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so honored for being here. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kirk.
Thank you very much, champion.
Thank you very much.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty much, yeah.
You guys, I'm nearly in tears, because you know what he's saying is so spot on. And we focus so much on ourselves and that pride and that arrogance that he was talking about. You know, we miss the opportunity to serve others when we're trying to serve ourselves. So I think this is the point where Natalie's all about key takeaways. So,
right. Oh, man. Well, one of the takeaways I took, definitely, well, it was so many. It's hard to just grab one. The intention, the mindset, understanding that you have to be careful what you say to yourself. You have to be careful what you say to yourself, even if you have justifiable reasons to say or think those thoughts. Once they're thoughts, they become words, they become actions, they become character, they become destiny, they become the results. So I guess it's constantly working on that mindset that if you speak from a certain place, I mean, you're only going out. What is it? Output, input, or input equals output. Like whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. No matter how you dress it up or why you're doing it, well, this, that, and the other, well, then that's what you're going to get. So if you want to have the output, if you want to have the result, just have the mindset. Figure out what that mindset even thinks like, looks like, talks like, then start thinking and talking and looking like that, you know, and manifest it.
yeah, that's good. What about you, Todd?
I think it's really about your mindset is about deposits worth versus withdrawals. It's about if you deposit enough into the world, because he talked about serving others. You deposit enough into people and into the world, then essentially your account in life will actually grow, or abundance will actually grow. But if you're constantly withdrawing, which in a lot of cases can be, you know, marketing and other aspects of your business, you know, it affects layers of everything that's happening within your own life. You know, a lot of times loss is actually gain. Okay. And so when I talk about deposits, it's like, okay, I'd rather have an empty bank account, but an abundant heart, because then essentially I'm serving people, and that service to people is actually going to rise, you know, my ability to actually grow as an individual myself. And then later, you know, the blessings come from that. And what I saw and heard from Kirk is that, you know, you have to really think about what are you depositing into the world? You know, what are you withdrawing from the world, and what are you depositing? And is your deposits greater than your withdrawals?
I like that. I'm gonna think of that. I like how you put it. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
What about you, Shay?
I think for me, it was, you know, there were a couple of things. The authenticity, that makes a huge difference. People know why you're coming to them. People can sense that. They can feel that if you're in it for yourself, and it's about what can I get from this relationship versus what can I give? How can I serve you? How can I help you? Because in doing that, you know, inevitably, I'm going to help myself. I love that. And then the desire piece is another thing, because if my desire to, you know, if whatever success means to me, you know, if my desire is to attain any level of success or achieve my goals, it's got to be stronger than my desire to lay in bed and watch Netflix. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with it, but what something's going to give at that point. And so it really is, examining your desires and looking at the why and pursuing your passion. There was just so much that he said that was just beautiful. And that serving others is a key piece of that. When we can step outside of ourselves and start to serve others, you're going to see so much change and beauty in this world that we can't even imagine.
You have the power to change the paradigms of our own lenses by our behavior and mind thoughts. Then we can see other stuff. It's all there to see. Yeah, we got to have him back. Got to have him back again.
Yes, absolutely. Season 2.
This is yes, indeed. Was as always, it was a pleasure. Again, if you haven't, make sure you go to pillar5.com, take your business assessment, find out exactly where you're at, get the guidance and expertise that you need from those around you. Always expand yourself. The best way to gain resources is to become one. Be of service to people. And other than that, I have nothing else, guys. This was amazing. I can't wait to do it again next Monday.
Yep. We'll see you next week.
Okay, guys. Well, appreciate you. Welcome back next week.
Our goal is simple: to help you achieve the dream and vision you first had when you thought about starting a business. We're here to make growing your business less complicated. There are building blocks to build a sustainable business. We promise to seek them out and address them all. The Better Your Business Show starts now.